Yeah, so it's no secret that I have put out a lot of farms, but there are very few that I truly love. The poop cannon, for example, is still my favorite farm to this day because it was just awesome, it produces poop, and it was hilarious. But it was patched. But this farm is actually up there with the poop cannon. It produces poop, purified water, ceramic, and so much more, while also farming gacha coins. And just to top it off, it's the easiest farm to build I have ever done. Now, if this guide does help you, please do drop a like and subscribe. Comment down below of any help that you may need. Remember to join the Discord, all the links are down below, but let's do this. Now, before we continue, this farm may very well be patched eventually. However, it is using game mechanics to our benefit. Now, this farm requires you to use 2 skills, so it may be worth having an alt character to save resetting or wasting skill points on your main. We are going to start by heading to the living skill tree, use 2 skill points in tier 1 to unlock tier 2. Now, max out structural mechanic, which gives you a chance to retrieve a portion of the materials back from placing down a build, and max out tape cutting, which gives you a chance to obtain a gacha coin when placing down a build. I think you can see where I'm going with this one. So I recommend building this on an empty island. Now, there are a few different ways to build this farm, but let's start out with the easiest. We're simply going to start by placing down a conveyor belt, placing another one ahead, then we're going to place down another one but to the right, and then another one coming back towards us again, and again. I know, it looks a bit wild. So now let's bring out some quarter slopes. Let's come down the end here. I'm just going to remove this conveyor belt to make it a little bit easier to place them on. And I'm going to place 4 of these along here, and I'm going to put our conveyor belt back in so it's there. Now I'm going to come back to the start, and I'm going to pull out a build such as the planters, and I'm going to send them down this conveyor belt path. Now you will see it will be taken under the floor, brought back round, and I will automatically pick it up. Now that's simply because there is a game mechanic built into the game that any builds that go under the floor will be automatically turned into floor loot. So with our maxed out structural mechanic and our maxed out tape cutting, we can actually gain some of the resources that's used to craft these. It will then automatically destroy it for us and put it back into our inventory, meaning you only need a few of these to do this. You could do it with 1, it will just be a bit slower, so I recommend having 3 or 4 just to keep an instant loop going round. But if you need to just do it with 1 until you've got enough resources to make a second one and a third one, then go ahead and do that. But the resources you will get from this, such as poop, is very useful. So I'm just going to sit here. There we go. I just got 10 sand, 5 water, 5 bone, and 5 feces just for sending some of these down. And I can just stay here and do this for a while. And as you can see, those gacha coins are coming in as well. And I am automatically picking the planters back up. So it's not actually costing me anything. It's just going straight back into my inventory. But at the same time, I'm farming up some of those difficult resources. So the great thing about this farm is it works for pretty much every build in the game, which means as long as you work out, there we go, it's got some more there. So as long as you mess around, test some different builds, you can really see what kind of resources you can gain just from standing here. But I will put a document in the description with some of the builds that I've tested so far and the resources I've gained from them, so you know which ones to go and do. Now I know this isn't fully automatic as you do need to place them down, but if you need to trap your trigger finger or your mouse button, that's down to you. But it's very simple to do, very useful for stacking up things like poop. You also get some purified water, which can take ages to make. You can do certain builds to get things like ceramic. There's a whole bunch of different stuff you can gain just from standing here and doing this. There we go, there's a bunch more. So I've only been doing this for a minute or so, and you can already see I've got 30 purified water, 30 feces, 60 ceramic, 60 sand, and 30 bones, which is just absolutely crazy. But this design with these quarter slopes is best for planters. However, I'm going to show you another setup now, which essentially can be used for every build in the game. It's just a little bit more tricky, but it's still very, very simple. So now we're going to do another design, and this one is generally used for bigger builds, but can be used for nearly every build in the game. So we're going to start off by placing down a conveyor belt, and we're going to go 4 along like so, and then we're going to add 1 on the end to go that way, and we're going to start coming back round towards us. So let's put them all the way along and bring them back to the spawn just like so. Now I'm going to come back around this side, I'm going to remove the 3rd one along, and I'm going to replace it with a downward conveyor belt, and I'm going to ungridlock it. This will allow me to get it into the floor, so it's just sticking out just like so. Now let's go ahead and place a gridlock downward conveyor belt here and here to make sure that any loot that glitches through and goes on top will also be brought onto our conveyor belt path. Now most of the time this will work fine. The only problem I have come across is sometimes when the loot goes under the floor, it will be stuck under this conveyor belt here. So a way to counter this is to actually remove this conveyor belt, and we're actually going to bring out an upwards conveyor belt. We're going to ungridlock it. We're going to bring it down under the floor just like so. So it's pointing onto our other conveyor belt, and we're just going to bring it forward towards our downwards conveyor belts just a little bit. Now this might be a little bit trial and error with this one, but usually I find that this works absolutely fine like this. So now when we come back to the start of our conveyor belts, we send in our chemistry workbench, it will be destroyed, brought back up onto our conveyor belt track, which means we can go back to the start and just start spamming them down. So we've just got to keep sending them in, seeing what we will get, and eventually, there we go, we got 10 titanium ingots, some rubber, glass, and ceramic. Now it is a little bit trial and error, but once you have it set up, you will realize how beneficial this is, especially for those slow producing resources. You can send water purification systems, you can send pet management machines, enchanting tables, you can essentially send anything you like that isn't locked to the floor and retrieve some of the resources that you get from crafting it. But as I said, there will be a Google document in the description with everything I've tested so far and the resources that I've gained from them. I will also put a little section at the bottom of the document with builds that I would tend to avoid. For example, the skilled furnace is very buggy. It rarely actually goes under the ground. They start to build up and you get rubbish resources from it when it does work anyway. So I'll put that one at the bottom as one to tend to avoid. But here is one that is very cool. This is a 3x3 monolith. Now every time I send this down, granted it's not as fast as some of the other ones, because if you do spam it too much it can get very buggy, but as long as you can keep these going, you get 45 iron ingots from it being destroyed, which is just incredible. So if you want to farm those iron ingots, this is technically the fastest way, and we can just keep sending them down. And as you can see, that number at the bottom of my screen very rarely goes down. Now the only difference with these bigger machines is they tend to have a little pause before actually being destroyed under the floor. If you're having any problems with any items being stuck under the floor, then simply remove this conveyor belt here, place in some glass walls, so it's something like this where you in the ends, and then you could implement a fan. Now I don't personally like to use fans, but for this small farm it won't really make a difference, and you're going to place it as low as you possibly can, down like so. Now anything under the floor will actually be pushed this way. So if you wish to secure that even more to prevent any bugs, you could even remove this one, place an upwards conveyor belt in, kind of gridlocked, just so it's something like this, and maybe make your farm a little bit wider if you're having any problems. But I tend to find this is a little bit of an unnecessary step, but you could do something like that if you are having any problems at all. Just remember to wall it in so nothing escapes, and that will do the exact same process. So very simple, send it forward, under the ground, background, automatically pick it up, and make sure you have tape cutting to get those gacha coins along the way as well. Now I have been here building this, talking to you guys for a minute, but look at all these amazing resources I get, especially the ceramic. I can't get over the ceramic from this, because if you know, ceramic takes a long time. Just from the ceramic, the sand, the purified water, the feces, we can already use that to make even more planters and even more builds to send down our glitch conveyor belt track. And I've even got 40 gacha coins from this. And the gacha coins aren't even the main reason I'm doing this. It's mainly for those other resources. The gacha coins are just a bonus. And there we go. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do drop a like and subscribe. Comment down below with any help that you may need, or let me know any resources that you managed to gain using this setup. Remember to join the Discord. All the links are down below, but most importantly, enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace!